Good afternoon, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, college football fans from around the globe. Today is Friday, September 16th, 2022, and I am joined by a very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
My name is Caden Handwork, and I'm here at Michigan State University.
Yes. So let's get the show on the road for this week. All games will be picked against the spread because that's what we do here. And we will be picking every Power 5 game because we don't discriminate on this show. Every team gets fair representation if you're in the Power 5. Starting out tonight, Florida State laying 3 at Louisville.
Lane 3, I'm going to go over with Florida State.
You think Florida State covers?
I think they do.
I agree. I think this is going to be a big year for Florida State. What about you?
I mean, they're out to 2-0 start, and yeah, they're looking pretty good.
And what I think helps Florida State is that they had a bye week after LSU because sometimes after an emotional win like that, you have a letdown the next week. I think having a bye week really factors them in this game.
Yeah, I agree.
And I got them way on the road. Watford at Virginia Tech. I can't find.
34.5. I'm going to go under.
You think it's Watford plus 34.5?
Yeah, I say Virginia Tech only wins by like 28.
Agree. Interesting one. Purdue at Syracuse. Syracuse laying 1.5.
That's a tough one because, I mean, I don't really know, like, what Purdue is. I mean, they were good against Penn State, but they lost the game. I'm going to say... And Syracuse is favored, right?
1.5 Syracuse is favored.
I'm going to say under. I think Purdue wins.
You got Purdue straight up. Kane, this is such a hard game to predict.
Yeah,
I honestly feel like this game could go either way.
yeah, I agree. Syracuse has a really good running back, too.
Sean Tucker.
Sean Tucker, yeah, he's amazing.
You know,
So, I could see Syracuse.
oh my God. I'm going to take Cuse to win and cover at home, but I think this game is very much a toss-up.
I agree.
Missouri hosting Albion Christian.
Well, Missouri got rolled by Kansas State last week. I think they obviously rebounded, but I'm going to take the over with Missouri.
What's the line? I can't see it.
Minus 31.5.
I'll take the over too.
Yep.
Oklahoma at Nebraska. Oklahoma laying 11.
Well, I think Nebraska is going to play inspired because of Scott Frost getting fired. I think the team's going to be fired up. But I'm going to still say over.
You think Oklahoma covers?
Probably wins by like 17.
I'm going to go with I agree with Missouri, by the way. I'm going to take Nebraska plus 11. I just think that Oklahoma, I think they're a good team. I still think Nebraska's offense is really good. And Thompson is a really good quarterback. And this is Venables' first big test for his defense, I feel like. Can Venables' new defense at OU hold their own against Nebraska? This is a weird game. Nebraska always plays well against good teams.
Yeah, they do.
And speaking of Nebraska, who are your top 3 candidates to be the next Nebraska coach? Who do you think the 3 frontrunners are?
I'd probably put Luke Fickle up there. I don't know about the other 2, though.
I'm going to go with Matt Campbell at number 1.
Okay.
Gary Patterson, DC, Texas. He used to be TCU's coach.
All right.
And a third, this might sound crazy. I think Urban Meyer.
Really?
Yes. He's number 3 on the list. But I don't know, man. Just I think Nebraska's a desperate program. And Urban Meyer, I don't know. I could see it, but I think Matt Campbell's the clear favorite.
Yeah.
Western Kentucky at IU. IU laying 6.5.
I think Western Kentucky goes on the road and beats Indiana. They almost beat them at home last year, and I think Western Kentucky goes on the road and beats them this year.
I'm going to take Western Kentucky to win, too. That's my upset. Look, Indiana is a very up-and-down team, and Western Kentucky's usually pretty good. For their standards, I should say.
Yeah.
Southern Illinois at Northwestern. Northwestern.
Minus 15.5.
You know what? Wait a minute. Why is it only 15?
Because Northwestern's not that good.
I know. So.
I'm saying over.
Look. I'm going to take the plus 15. I just feel like this should be higher.
Yeah.
I really do. I don't know why. I'm going to take the plus 15. Youngstown State at Kentucky.
I'm going to say over for Kentucky.
What's the line? I can't see the spread on every one of these.
It's minus 30.5.
Yeah, they'll cover. I think. What do you think about Mark Stoops to Nebraska?
I could see that because, Kentucky's not like a high-powered program. Yeah, Mark Stoops has done really well there, but, Nebraska's a way better job than Kentucky, so I could see that. I think he could really help Nebraska with recruiting.
Yep. Georgia at South Carolina. Georgia laying 25.5.
I'm going to say under. I think Georgia only wins by like 21.
I got Georgia to cover. Look. I think Georgia is miles ahead of everyone else right now.
Yeah. Honestly, if I'm the national champion right now, it would be Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would too. I will say this, though. I think Georgia covers. I don't think... I think Spencer Rattler's... I think Rattler's super overhyped.
Yeah, the only reason I say under is because, it's South Carolina's like a hostile environment, so...
But Georgia's just so much better.
Yeah, Georgia's good, but I say they'll win convincingly, but it'll be like 20, maybe even 24.
We disagree on this one, but I think we both agree that Georgia is clearly the best team. And I don't think Alabama's number 2.
I don't either.
I know it's early, and I might say this. Make an argue. I think Michigan has an argument for number 2.
Oh, yeah, definitely. They played high school teams to start the year, but the offense has looked good. JJ looks like he's going to be good. I've obviously got to see him play against good teams.
Yes, I agree that's fair. But honestly, if you outside of Georgia, who has looked really good in both of their games?
Well, yeah, I don't think Ohio State's looked really good.
I don't think Bama's looked really good.
Yeah, I'd say Georgia 1 and Michigan at 2.
Yeah, now that could change. I'm not saying it's, but honestly, Kane, and what I've seen so far is we'll get to Michigan later, but all right, let's just get the cat out of the bag. Michigan hosting Connecticut. Michigan laying 47.5. We're winning this game and we're covering. What do you think?
Well, Michigan didn't cover the spread last week against Hawaii. I really don't know how UConn even is. I'm going to say under Michigan and by 5.
Yeah, but here's what I'll say about Michigan. And honestly, if you look at the floor, if you look at the Big Ten, I honestly can't see a scenario where we lose more than. I think the floor is 10-2. Honestly.
Lost to Michigan State and Ohio State or something? Or?
Yes, I think if the floor is a loss to Michigan State and Ohio State, and the ceiling is 12-0.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, is it wrong for me to say that I'm not worried about Iowa?
Iowa's terrible. I mean, Michigan's going to go in there and I think roll them.
And I'm never worried about James Franklin ever.
No, yeah, I think J.J. McCarthy's first test is probably going to be the Michigan State.
I agree. Yep. And yeah, honestly, Kane, I just can't see how Iowa beats us. How are they going to score?
I know. They're going to have to play like really well on defense and might have to get like a couple lucky touchdowns.
Yeah. And when Michigan's gone in there, and people say, oh, Iowa's a tough place for Michigan. It is. But when Michigan's gone in there, we've had some vanilla offenses. I don't think that's the case this year.
I don't think so either.
And
the Big Ten outside of Ohio State
and Michigan
is really weak. Because, I mean, we don't know what Michigan State is yet. And we won't know until tomorrow.
I agree. But here's what I'd be concerned about if I was a Michigan State fan. That in the first two games, Thorne did not look that great.
Yeah, well, I think the first one, I think, like, facing his dad was a little bit of a factor. But Akron, yeah, he looked terrible.
Akron, you can't make an excuse for Akron.
Not make an excuse for that game.
Yeah, and what another interesting thing is, I keep hearing how, I didn't watch the Akron game, but is it true that he keeps, when he's throwing the Keon Coleman, he overthrows him?
Yeah, like every time.
Is it just him or is it everyone?
I think it's just him. And I'll tell you what, if Jaden Reed does not play tomorrow, I don't give Michigan State a shot at winning. I really don't.
Why do you think it's just a Coleman he overthrows?
I don't know. I really don't.
Well, I think those two need to, after practice, need to work on running routes, get a little more in sync with each other. Because you can't have that.
No, you can't.
They need to get familiar with each other. I think that is a huge problem.
Yeah.
Texas State at Baylor. Baylor laying 30.5.
Baylor covers.
Yeah, I think they do too. Towson at West Virginia.
I'd say West Virginia covers.
What's the spread?
30.
Yeah, they will. Old Dominion at Virginia. Virginia only laying 8.5.
I'm gonna go under.
I agree with you because that spread is too low.
Yeah, Old Dominion's legit. I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled the upset.
I think Virginia wins.
I think they do too.
Rutgers at Temple. Another weird spread. Rutgers laying 18.
I'm going to say under. I say Rutgers by 2 touchdowns.
Agree. That spread, though, is too high for me to pick Temple.
Yeah.
But, honestly, when was the last time Rutgers was a double-digit favorite on the road?
I'm going to say never.
That has to be the first time.
Probably since they were in, like, the Big East.
I don't think, yeah, it's been a long time. But I think Shiano's a very good coach.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ohio at Iowa State. Iowa State laying 18.5. Another interesting spread.
I'm going to say over.
I'm going to go under. Look, Iowa State always plays down to their opponents, and they rise up against good ones.
Yeah.
That's why I got under. South Alabama at UCLA. UCLA only laying 15.5. Under. Weird spread. See, one thing, Kane and listeners, Mike Valente has taught me the Vegas formula. The weird spreads.
Yeah.
And I'm taking after him. California at Notre Dame. Notre Dame laying 11.5.
I'm going to say under, but I think Notre Dame wins.
I agree. Under Notre Dame wins. Now, let's just say they lose. What? I don't think they'll fire Marcus Freeman. But when do you think when do you think the questioning of Marcus Freeman starts?
I think if they start 0-4, that's when it starts.
That's when the honeymoon ends, and it's.
Yeah, I'd say 0-4 is when it starts.
Tulane at K-State. Tulane at Kansas State. Kansas State only laying 14.
I'll say over.
Agree. I think Deuce Vaughn goes off. Ole Miss at Georgia Tech. Mississippi laying 16.5.
Over.
Yeah, Georgia Tech sucks. And I'm going to change my pick. Under in the K-State game. Another weird spread. I just feel like it should be higher.
Yeah.
I think K-State's a really good team. And the fact that it's only 14 concerns me. Colorado at Minnesota. Minnesota laying 27.5.
Colorado's terrible.
Yes.
But I'll say under. I say Minnesota by like 24.
I agree with you. Yeah, under. New Mexico State at Wisconsin. Wisconsin laying 37.5.
Over. I think Wisconsin's going to be angry.
I'm going to go under. I just don't think Wisconsin has the offense to win by more than... I don't think Wisconsin has the type of offense to win by 38 points.
Yeah.
Vanderbilt at Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois laying 2.5.
This is a weird spread. Oh my goodness. I'm going to say over.
I agree. I want IU to cover. IU's a decent team. BYU at Oregon. Oregon laying 3.5.
I really don't know if BYU can replicate what they did last week with Baylor. I think if BYU can win the rest of their games, they have a serious chance to go to the playoff. Depending on how the other teams that they beat fare out by the end of the season. But I'm going to go Oregon in this one. I'm going to take the over.
Agree. Oregon to win and cover. Weird spread again. I mean, I feel like tomorrow's going to be like a hangover type game for BYU.
Yeah.
Penn State at Auburn. Penn State laying 2.5. I agree. Must-win game for Brian Harsin. Back against the wall. This would be a huge win for him to get that fan base believing again. And Franklin sucks in big road games. Give me Auburn. Alabama hosting Louisiana Monroe. Bama laying 49.5. Agree. I think Nick Saban is really going to put his foot down. I think they're going to be pissed. Kansas at Houston. Houston laying 8.5.
Kansas, they're off to a pretty good start, 2-0, beat West Virginia, but I'm going to say over. I think Houston probably wins.
I agree. Houston, good team. Liberty at Wake Forest. Wake Forest laying 16.5.
I'm going to go under.
I'm going to go over. Wake Forest with Sam Hartman is a totally different team. Washington State hosting Colorado State. Washington State laying 17.
I'm surprised they're only laying 17. I'm going to go over.
Yeah, this spread was at 14, moved up to 17. Why is it so low? I still think they barely cover.
Yeah.
North Carolina A&T at Duke.
Over.
What's the spread?
-24.
Agree. Mississippi State at LSU. Mississippi State laying 3.
I'm going to say under. I think LSU wins. It's hard to go in a Baton Rouge and beat LSU.
I got Mississippi State to win and cover. I think this Brian Kelly era is going to be a disaster.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets fired by the end of the season.
And if they lose, the media won't show up on time. Texas Tech at NC State. This is a very underrated matchup.
Hot take.
What?
Texas Tech upsets NC State.
NC State's laying 10.
I know, and I'm saying Texas Tech's going to win because I think NC State is a fraud.
Texas Tech plus 10, but I still think NC State wins. Oklahoma State hosting Air Pine Bluff. Oh, State. Okay, State.
I don't even know anything about Arkansas Pine Bluff. Over.
Ohio State laying 31.5 home in Toledo.
This is a tough spread because Ohio State hasn't even covered the spread this year. I mean, they didn't even do it against Arkansas State. But I think this is going to be a week where TJ Stroud and the offense starts to really get the momentum going. And I'm going to say Ohio State covers the spread.
I agree. I think with JSM back, offense will open up tomorrow night and they'll cover. Akron at Tennessee. Tennessee laying 47.5.
Over because Michigan State beat them by 52.
I'm going to go under.
Okay.
I don't know why. I just have a feeling Tennessee's going to struggle tomorrow night. Tennessee, just when you think they're on the right track, they tend to let you down a little bit.
Yeah, you're right.
Missouri State at Arkansas.
Yeah, Arkansas.
SMU at Maryland. Maryland laying 3.
It's a tough one. I'm gonna say over.
I'm going to go SMU in an upset on the road.
Really?
The Mustangs get a win. Maryland starts out always 2-0 and then they collapse.
Yep, that's every year for Maryland.
Maine at BC. Give me BC.
Yep.
Nevada at Iowa. Iowa laying 23.5.
Under.
Agree. Pitt at Western. Pitt only laying 10.5.
I'm going to say over, but I say Pitt.
Look, man, it's a low spread. Give me Western plus 10.5.
You're not saying Western's going to win, though.
No, I just think the spread's too low.
Yeah, so Pitt by 7, you said?
Yeah. Michigan State at Washington. UW laying 3.5.
Well, I think Mel Tucker's going to have the boys ready to play. I'm going to say Michigan State wins 31-27. So give me Sparty.
Look, man, another game, weird spread. Why is Washington a 3.5 point favorite? I think this is the good old Vegas pulling the fish out on you, tricking people into thinking MSU's free money, tricking casuals into thinking it's free money. I think Washington wins and covers. I think Michigan State has not looked great this year. This is their first big test on the road. And Washington, I think, has definitely improved. It's on the road at night. State's got to go across country. First road game. I think Washington wins. Now, I will say this. If Michigan State wins tomorrow, that will be huge for Mel Tucker. Tomorrow's game is about my storyline is, can Mel Tucker keep the momentum from last year? And I think winning a game like tomorrow night would really help that cause.
You know what would really impress me? If Michigan State goes out there and wins by double digits.
If Michigan State goes out there and wins by double digits, then it's a 3-team race in the Big Ten.
Yep.
And I think everyone knows which 3 teams.
Yep.
And I'm just going to say this. Spoiler alert, whoever wins the Big Ten needs to win the Big Ten. Just thought I'd get that out of the way.
Yep.
Florida hosting South Florida. Florida laying 24.5.
Over.
Agree. AR-15 bounces back. Clemson hosting Louisiana Tech. Clemson laying 33.5.
I'm going to go under.
I agree. I don't trust DJ.
I don't either. I don't think he's that good, and I think Clemson's a fraud.
Hot take. October 1st, Cade Klubnik will be the starter.
I agree with that.
Oregon State hosting Montana State. Give me Oregon State.
Yeah.
UTSA at Texas. Texas only laying 12.5.
I'm going to say over.
I'm going to say under. Too low of a spread for me.
Yeah, and no Quinn Ewers either.
Yeah, and Hudson Card's terrible.
Yeah.
Miami at A&M. A&M laying 6. Another weird spread.
Man, I think Texas A&M is probably going to be pissed off, and this is a really tough one. I'm going to say under, but A&M wins.
You know what? I'm going to take a risk. I'm going to go against Las Vegas and pick Miami straight up.
I wouldn't be surprised by that either.
I just think that this is a big game. A signature win for Cristobal, his first tough test on the road.
I think Miami might win the ACC.
I agree with you. I don't think it will be Clemson.
No.
I really don't. You know, do you think Nebraska could pull Dabo? And just say, fuck it, throw everything in the table and try?
Might as well. Might as well give it a shot.
What's the worst he could say? No?
The worst he can say is no.
Honestly, if I'm Nebraska, I'd give it a whirl.
Yep.
If he hangs up on you, that's still respect for you calling.
Yep.
Give it a try.
Give it a try.
Honestly, I think winning at Nebraska would be more valuable than winning at Clemson.
Agreed.
It's a more prestige program than Clemson.
Much more.
I don't know, Kane. It feels like a long shot.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I don't really think Dabo's going to be in for much long. I think he'll either go somewhere else or...
Could you see Dabo going to LSU if Kelly doesn't work out?
I could totally see that happening.
Because I think Brian Kelly's a disaster down there.
Yeah, I mean, the moment he got hired, I knew he was going to be a disaster when he was pretending he was from the South And he was dancing around with recruits. Like, dude, you're making a total fool out of yourself.
San Diego State at Utah. Utah laying 21.
I'm going to say over.
Agree. Brady Hoke has a terrible track record against Utah.
That is true.
Fresno at USC. USC only laying 11.5.
That spread is way too low. I'm going to say over.
I'm going to say under.
Really?
Because of your reason, the spread is too low. Why is it only 11?
USC could make the playoff.
I know they can, but why is it only 11?
I know. But, I mean, is Fresno State even that good?
They're good. They got the first team Mountain West quarterback plays for Fresno State. I know that's not saying much, but he's projected to be an NFL draft pick this year.
Yeah, I'm gonna say over.
Fresno's a sneaky team. They went into UCLA last year and beat them. Not saying they'll beat USC, but they're a sneaky team. I think that's a potential upset, but I think SC's talent is too much. I think SC will win by like 10. They'll pull away late.
Hold up. Is North Dakota State favored in this Arizona game?
Are they?
I think they are. It's -3.
For North Dakota State, then give me North Dakota State to win and cover. Weird spread.
Honestly, I'm going with North Dakota State.
Eastern at ASU. ASU laying 20.5. I think this spread's too low.
You're going to go under?
I'm going to go under.
I'm going over.
Well, that is all for our picks today. Thank you for joining the show, Caden.
Yeah.
We hope to have you back next week.
Have a good one.
See ya.
See ya.
All right, guys. Thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe. Love y'all. Have a blessed day.